Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land and pay respect to elders past and present. This meeting is live streamed on Council's website to allow the community to follow debates and decisions without the need to attend meetings in person. Members of the public attending or speaking at a meeting agree to have their image, voice and personal information, including name and address, recorded and publicly broadcast. Stony Valley's Council does not accept liability for any defamatory remarks or inappropriate comments that are made during the course of a meeting. Any part of the meeting that is held in closed session will not be streamed. Please ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting, and no recording of voice or images is permitted. In the event of an emergency, please evacuate the building using the nearest exit and follow instructions given by the warden. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage I'd like to pause for a moment's silence. I respect for those that have lost things and life in the fire. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies and leave of absence from Councillor Pritchard and Councillor Benjamin. Do I have a mover and a second for that? Councillor Risson and Councillor Wright. All in favour? That's carried. Declaration. Okay. Declarations for continuing interest, councillors? Nothing? At this stage also I'd like to welcome Suzanne Andre, our Chief Financial Officer, Paul Holton, the new Executive Director of Corporate and Community, and congratulate Heinz Kush on his Director of Infrastructure role. Thank you very much for being here. Notice of motion. Councillors have a notice of motion. The motion is that the Council takes action on climate change. Any second? Or any changes to that motion? So,
if I may, excuse me, from what I understand, we have quite a detailed program moving forward in relation to climate change. Could you give a brief outline of what that is before we accept or improve this particular motion?
Pass over to the Executive Officer.
Through the Chair, Councillor Lisselman, the program is for us to do an evaluation on the risk assessment for climate change, and that's currently in training with our insurer, is assisting us with that program, and that should be finished prior to the next round of funding for climate change. So we've currently got a whole lot of actions in place that are contributing towards preparing our area for climate change, and for example, we've had on the agenda today about the food and organic waste program and many other programs Council runs around its fleet, etc. Paul, did you have an update on the time for that?
Yes, I do. The Council's insurer will be conducting a workshop in February to gather internal feedback, and we'll update the assessment following that.
So, Mr Mayor, through you, would it be acceptable to say that the Council continues to take the actions in place on climate change rather than takes action?
Yes, and you're seconding that?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to. So you're moving that in Councillor Pritchard's absence?
Thank you.
And with those changes?
Yeah.
Seconder?
second. Thanks, Jim.
Further discussion, councillors? Put the motion in favour? It's carried unanimously. Thank you for that. Councillors, 5.1, adoption of Snowy Valleys Council 2020 Bushfire Recovery Plan. Councillor Smith, Councillor Pam. Councillor Smith.
This obviously is on everybody's heart and mind at the present time, and it is the most mammoth of tasks, and I congratulate those people that have put together this very extensive and comprehensive program, and I very highly commend that we as council and the community combined do get behind this program as much as possible for the betterment of our shire.
Councillor Ham.
Thank you, Councillor Schmidt. Yes, most definitely. However, I am aware that this report was put together under duress, like just because of time and what was going on. And unfortunately, I think it was perceived, some parts of it were perceived poorly by people. I'd like to discuss, if we could, maybe go into committee so we can talk about the advocacy plan and just how what that actually means, because the way it is put out here, some of it can be misinterpreted.
Certainly moving that way.
Yes, please.
Second.
Councillor Wilson, all in favour? Carried. Councillor Ham.
Okay, so would the CEO, would it be okay if I ask the CEO about Brindabella Road, how that, like, I'd really like us to discuss every one of these and add to them if possible.
Okay, so last year, council adopted an advocacy plan prior to the election process that went up as a council report, and since that was adopted, it actually had an amendment to that, so it has been a public process. Immediately following disaster, in order to move recovery forward in the community, there's displacement around employment and various options like that, and it is typical to get a number of blue sky type projects up and going for consideration, and certainly our advocacy plan has been the main source of that. And if you consider something like the Brindabella Road, for instance, and the lobbying that's been for the Brindabella Road across the whole Snowy Valleys area, and I know quite strong lobbying from the Cancoban community, then these are projects that we will then work up with other agencies to look at, what's the employment benefit, what's the return to economies in the local area, and what's the negative and positive impacts of each of those. So the purpose of noting these things is just items to be looking at, because there'll be opportunity available at the moment where there wouldn't normally be opportunity around some of these projects. And it is quite healthy to have a variety of projects available depending on what the state and federal government may not want to fund.
Okay, and I was actually with the Premier when Dr. Hamilton asked her the question about does the money get spent in areas where they've been physically impacted by the fire or not, and she was quite adamant that this was to help impacted areas of fire, so, which made me feel a bit better about it. So trails, does that mean rail trails and human hobbled tracks and walking trails?
There's a whole lot of trails that are beneficial in our area. In our regional economic development strategy, we have mountain biking trails tied up with the human hobbled track as an example. So those are the sorts of things that we'll pull out from our current documentation and look at how those can be advanced. So if we were going to do some clear up and clean up work around the human hobbled track, could we do betterment of that project at the same time to assist our economies to recover?
And one last thing before anyone else has something to say. The multi-purpose centre, I'd like to know why that was there on a tunit level, but also I would I was concerned down at Cancoban that they didn't have a hall multi-purpose centre, and Snowy Hydro stepped up and they all went into that Snowy Hydro building on the way to the bondage, which thank you very much to them. But certainly I think it should be expedited that they have a one-purpose centre that they can use as an evacuation centre.
Yeah, certainly the multi-purpose centre that is listed off in the advocacy plan may be very different to what we've got in this documentation. As you would know, the majority of our community that did evacuate was housed in the Wagga Centre, and because we didn't have a facility that's available. So you may build a variety of those facilities or build onto existing facilities within the council area that would be able to cater for those types of events.
Just along with that, we all recognise that the council building here, we had only one telephone line, no generator, none of that sort of stuff. And I know the generator was moved many years ago and plans were done and nothing ever happened about it. But I think now's the time we should be sort of advocating for get that up and running so that we do have some communication and access for the staff to be able to work in a decent bit of comfort.
Yeah, certainly facility Tumbarumba is critical to our operations, and part of the subcommittees for the recovery committee is the council business subcommittee, and we'll be going through and reviewing the process and what the needs were. The Tumbarumba Centre is listed as our secondary relief centre, emergency operations centre. So we need to make sure that that's actually functional for that, as well as our depots and other facilities. We had many issues about generators being able to easily be hooked into a lot of our infrastructure across the whole area. So all those items will be evaluated and we'll hopefully be able to lodge an argument with the state and federal government for betterment around those and have those funded through state and federal processes rather than from our local community.
And Councillor Wright, I can see just talking to a lot of the rural fire service guys, a lot of them are quite sort of interested in getting them into their sheds as well. So,
Yeah.
because they lost power as well. So, and some don't have power at all. But, so I can see the grants process that will happen from here on, having a sort of there'll be sort of an emphasis towards that sort of infrastructure.
Yeah, for sure.
Councillor.
Mr. Mayor, I'm interested to know whether there's been any additions to that blue sky thinking in the interims.
It's,
I know this has all been.
It's an ongoing list, yeah, and as people bring things up, we add them.
What I'd like to add right into that is the Tumbarumba town centre heavy vehicle detour, we don't want all traffic taken out of the main street. It would be lovely to see the long trucks out of the main.
Yeah, that's been
street.
fixed already.
I think that's one that we've got to work on.
Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. I'd also like to add, and consider adding, a betterment program for water supplies to villages and towns, because it's been brought to my attention that the water supply in that has been impacted by the fires, and that there is a suggestion that in 5 or 6 years' time, the filling in of the dam will actually reduce the capacity of that particular environment for us as a township.
We should be looking at that around this one too.
I'm looking at better water betterment plan for all villages as part of this. It would be a really good important part.
And you may be able to bring the cross-border commissioner who has a new role into that as well. So Tavish may be involved in that.
One other thing, if I may, just talking about generators, I'd just like to have a big thank you to our new director Paul for the work that he's done in getting fuel in Batlow and the process that's gone through, knowing that it will happen at some stage soon. I do thank you for the efforts you've put into that.
Thank you. Councillor Cross.
And I'd like to add a big thank you to the staff, some of those council staff that worked above and beyond their normal duties. They didn't get the holiday that they were hoping for over Christmas, so I really think we need to acknowledge the contribution that they did in keeping things going.
Can I suggest to the mover and the seconder that we put a 5 in there and council staff and all the emergency services that are involved?
And contractors.
Yes.
You do that. Anything further for Councillor Wiley?
Just maybe add some further background to the airport that it's obviously on our project list, and it's obviously a very important hub, not only from a transport point of view for the people coming and going, and with the Snowy 2 project, but it served this entire community through the RFS use of our airport to firebomb affected areas. And what we've identified, although we've obviously managed as best we could, it certainly doesn't meet the standards required for emergency services, and we need to upgrade that airport so that those firefighting aircraft can take off and land safely. So that's certainly an area that we've identified, and that's one of the main reasons for it. And the military are also looking to use the airport as well. So it's obviously a significant project that we've flagged with relevant state and federal politicians, and I think it's one of the priority projects that needs to be looked at for those reasons.
Councillor Councillor Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the cross-border commissioner. There was an issue down at Cancoban area where a small community called Bigara was actually quite isolated. They are within our shire boundary, but to get there you need to go through Victorian territory, and they were isolated and no Victorian services were able to enter into their territory, and we weren't reaching it because we had to go travel through Victoria. So that's an issue that is clearly in need of fixing properly through the cross-border commission.
There remains a lot of cross-border issues, but that's not it.
Councillor Ham.
Just two other things. One is, I know everyone's talking about mental health, and it's hard to put in, like all the, in all these blue sky projects. I think we have to have mental health behind it, and things like down at Tuma, they're thinking of asking for an extension to that hall with a veranda and heaters. So in 6 months' time, when it's cold and it's miserable and people are really feeling the impact very much of their loss, wherever we've got to work towards hubs where people can go for mental health reasons. And sorry, my last point is about recovery subcommittees. They're just it's listed the chairs there. This was an outdated document, and the chairs are actually councillors.
And I would encourage any group that wants improvements to have those quotes ready to go.
Right.
So you've got shovel-ready projects, and that certainly is one that would be a very good one, given that there will be funds available. You just got to be ready to take opportunity.
Can I ask, people keep saying there will be funds available. Like, what do you think there?
I'm just an optimist.
As a CEO, do you know what's going to come?
Through the chair, we do have a meeting with the New South Wales Disaster Funding Officer manager next week, and we'll go through and we'll determine what actions we've taken fit into what of the existing funding groups there are, including the $1 million, and then we'll look at what falls outside of that, and we'll start an advocacy project around trying to get those things covered. Some of the community groups have actually taken really positive action already. I was in Jingellic the other day, and the Jingellic community have an idea about a memorial for the firefighters in that area. They've actually drafted up what they would like to see done. They've spoken to a contractor about that already. They have put that forward at their community advisory committee meeting, and I believe it's going to have some more discussion. And then that will be put forward to our community recovery committee meeting, and it will work its way up to the point where we talk to the likes of Dick Adams to say, well, here's a really good project, here's all the other benefits to it, and propose those forward for additional funding sources.
And in addition, on Sunday, Anthony Pratt announced $900,000 for in a grants process through FRRR. So there may be more grant opportunities like that. There may be other large companies and philanthropic organisations that have a grants process open to us, so be ready. Councillor Wilson.
Mr Mayor, I would just like to make my voice known about the upgrade of the Lindell Road. I think it's something that, if ever there was a timely opportunity for us to make sure that that road was actually put on the agenda and actually achieved, now is the time, because that road has the opportunity to provide for the entire Shire, tourism of a level that we've never seen before, and that's what we're going to need. We're going to have huge impact on our communities through the softwood industry, the agricultural industry, and recovery programs not going to be overnight, even up to 8 years. But a road to Canberra with 400,000 people sitting there who want to make day trips over here will have such an immense impact on every community throughout the Shire. And I think it's time we really definitely made that a priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Moving. Yeah?
No, I just wanted to make one last comment about the fact that, again, following on from what I said about Snowy Valley's council staff, organising those community meetings to host all of the government services that are available for communities to come and hear about what they're doing and how they can access funding for themselves. Also like to commend the bulletins that are sent out, the three weekly bulletins that are sent out on the Snowy Valley's website. I think that's an absolutely wonderful initiative to give people the true facts of what's happening around the area with bushfires. Thank you. Yes.
Can I just make a comment too, that I think, the crazies, sometimes come out in these times of difficulty, and the mayor advocating for a hospital to be brought forward in Sherman is not something that's absolutely, stupid. I mean, it's sensible. And so, we need leadership of that type to ensure that the Shire goes forward. And people just need to hold back on making stupid comments about what we're trying to achieve as a community. And I know people are hurting, and some people are really upset and not in a good space, but just, think carefully about what you say and do before you...
I think there's a lot of us hurting and not in a good space.
Yeah, that's right. But, there's no need to take it out on each other and
it's going to get away for worse.
make silly comments about, bringing hospitals forward. I mean, that's just common sense stuff. Why would you deprive a community of 7,000 people of a hospital?
No. Thank you, Councillor Arthur. And certainly the time for unity is now, and I think united, we can certainly succeed. Divided, we're in trouble. So if we can show some sort of solidarity, put aside our differences, I think we can move forward with gusto and take opportunity of what's there. If we confuse the issue, and we confuse just confuse lots of things, we're in trouble, and that's the thing that I fear the most. Someone would like to move out of me. Thank you, Councillor Wright, Councillor Russell. All in favour? Carried. So,
yeah, both move and second are happy.
Yes.
I might just read out the change there, the addition. So it's the council acknowledged the efforts of council staff, the RFS, community volunteers and contractors throughout the emergency and recovery efforts.
can we add emergency services as well?
Would it be appropriate there to actually put a point 6 to acknowledge also the support from surrounding council areas and JOs, because it has been mind-blowing, the support we've got from all over Australia, if not the world.
I suggest then we just change to the council acknowledge the efforts and support and add other councils, because we've certainly had significant contact from other councils and the joint organisation.
Yeah, I suppose I suppose I was also thinking about the evacuees here in town and other places. Like, I just think we should acknowledge people who took people into their homes, all around.
How many does volunteers?
Volunteers, okay.
Yeah.
Volunteers.
Thank you.
One second.
That's fine.
For the motion, all in favour? It's carried. Thank you very much for that. 5.2, bushfire recovery waiving fees.
Move.
Councillor Bisselman, Councillor Wright, Councillor Weston.
Just like to confirm that this recommendation that we put forward is going to look very closely at the excess water rates that people may experience as a result of looking after their homes in small towns and villages. Even though they may not have been impacted by fire, they may have spent some time prior to the fire arriving, spending a lot of time protecting their home with water on the roof and whatever, and just making sure that any excess water bills that may occur from this term are looked at and monitored.
Thank you, Councillor. Through the Chair, yes, that is the case. We propose that Council will apply a firefighter discount to all water rates, but it will depend on how much people have actually used.
Could you please, through the Chair, explain that?
Through the Chair, we will compare this quarterly water bill with last year's quarterly water bill that reflects the same quarter and determine whether there's excess water usage compared to last year.
So if someone had an excess water bill for that same period last year, that will be deducted first?
Through the Chair, yes, obviously we will have to look at that as well.
Can I just ask with the indulgence of the movement a second at dot point 3, after associated fees, we put for 3 years. Yeah, just so that we've got some sort of sunset in there.
Maximum period of 3 years.
Maximum period of 3 years. And that we also look at adding at point 4 that we approach government to cover the cost of waiving fees and charges. Councillor Wright.
Could you maybe just add in to the Insurance Council of Australia to it as well? Just, I mean, we're going to be paying out a lot of money in water, and it's obviously saved them from having the good work of the RFS, and that water's obviously saved them from having to pay out on homes.
Yep. So,
Yes, I'm happy with that.
happy with that, Councillor Wright?
Thank you.
Anything further? Councillor Weston, do you want to close?
No, but thank you, in particular to the support that's being given to our ratepayers in relation to the matter of the fires and the impact that's having, and I'm sure there will be other people in the community who may, in rebuilding, find that they might have to put extra security in their buildings with bushfire protection and so on. And I'd just like to say, one of our Barrow community has recently built a home and was quite disappointed with having to spend $7,000 extra to put bushfire security in his home, and now says thank you very much, Shire Council, because that saved their home. So those people have to rebuild. There will be perhaps new appliances, but you know, they are worthwhile. Thank you.
Motion, all in favour? Carried unanimously. Moving on to 5.3, Road Sustainability Project Plan. Councillor Hans.
Councillor Usman. That's the hand.
So this is about our economic sustainability, and I think most people in the room are aware that we need to look at this very, very closely. This is just the beginning process of having a very public, transparent discussion about where we are financially, where we're heading towards, what sort of council we want to look like, how are we going to achieve that, do we have to ask for more money, more rates to do this. So it will be a slow process, but I personally think that every meeting we should bring up something about this so that the whole community comes on a journey with us and we discuss why and what we're doing, doing. So if it does come to the stage where we need to harmonise at some stage, so when's that going to be? And if we need to put up rates, why and how that is going to individually impact us all.
And I think also to add to what Julia says, we've got to make sure we're prepared, have in preparation ready for the next council, whoever they might be in September, because some of us won't be there, and we can't be just saying, oh well, we'll just leave it to them. We've got to actually prepare for them as well, not leave them a problem.
Any further? I'll put that motion all in favour. Carried. Unanimous. Council, this takes us to the proposal to create a new government area affecting the area of Snowy Valleys Council. Recommendation is 1, receive the report on the proposal to create a new local government area affecting the area of Snowy Valley Council from the Chief Executive Officer. And 2 is for what we put in there.
Mr Mayor, I move number 1, independently of number 2, please.
Move number 1. Okay.
Yep.
Second.
Support that.
And
That's the hand.
Mr Mayor, move to committee for number 2, please.
Yeah, we'll vote on 1 first.
Oh, sorry.
Are you happy to vote on 1 first?
Oh, absolutely. I refuse it.
Good motion. All in favour? Carried. Unanimous. Councillor Usman is moving into committee, or asking to. Then seconded by Councillor Wright. All in favour? Everyone again? Councillor Usman.
Just bringing our attention to the options that are there on our page 32 on paper, 33 on electronic, and recognising that there are 3 options being given there. I'm proposing that we look closely and discuss option 2 and support that particular area in relation to this matter.
Would you be able to read that out so people?
The Council lodged a submission to the New South Wales Minister for Local Government on the proposal to create a new local government area affecting the area of Snowy Valleys Council in support of referring the matter to the Boundaries Commission to provide an independent report to the Minister under the factors listed in the Local Government Act. The reasons Council has chosen to lodge a submission in support of the referral to the Boundaries Commission includes A, councillors to detail if they wish to explain why the benefits of the Minister to have its context.
So I suggest that after Act, Local Government Act, which is the 4th line of number 2, we write to resolve the issues as soon as possible at no additional cost to Snowy Valleys Council and to be resolved prior to the next council election. And just get rid of the other sentence. So, just sort of shortens it up a bit.
Yep.
It resolves the issue once and for all, and we get moving. So we know where we're up to, what's happening. We can plan for the future, and then we just move on. Whatever the government decides into the future, that's the way we'll go.
I totally agree with that. I think just get on with it. Let's support it all the way through. When the decision's made, the umpire makes a call, we accept it with grace. Just let's get on with being whatever we are at the time afterwards.
And we don't know all of it.
So just to be clear, number 3 would not be applicable because the Minister has already made, the Boundary Commission has already taken on the understanding that they will accept that as a requirement of the Minister. So where it says not support it being referring, that's...
Well, I think we would support it referring.
No, I mean, what it says in here is in point 3, so I'm saying point 3 is not, I believe, affecting the snow matter in support of not referring them to Boundary Commission. We haven't got that option anymore, have we?
Through the Chair, I'm advised that the Minister has spoken to the Boundaries Review Commissioners and told them to prepare in case it is referred to them. But legally, they have to go through this process of consultation prior to making, the Minister makes the decision on whether she refers it or not. So it is a possibility that it might not be referred, but the Minister has asked the Commissioners to be available in case it is.
So number 2 is...
And after all, a significant amount of the population have asked us to do it, so...
Can I just also, people also asked after the bushfires to have this decision delayed, and I spoke to Justin Clancy, the local member, about this, and he did take on that and did speak to the Minister about it. She said, well, you know, really, if this is to be done, it needs to be done now, no more delay, because the hard work really for people in the community starts now, because it's to the Boundaries Commission that you really want to put the submissions, whereas this sounds almost like a done deal. Done. Yeah.
So this submission can be one sentence.
Do it.
Yeah, do it. The next submission is the one that's going to take.
That you say why you don't, why you doing that.
So possibly it should be extra column.
And that will be a decision of the, no longer of the ministers, it will be a decision of the Boundary Commission.
Through the Chair, the Boundaries, then stage 2 of the process, the Boundaries Commission will make a recommendation to the Minister, and the Minister then has the right to make a decision for or against, but the Minister can't vary the decision too greatly against what was originally proposed. So it's unlikely that something way out different would come out of that process, or the Minister would have to go back, rescope the matter being referred to the Boundaries Review Commission.
So we're not actually saying we want to demerge, we're saying we want it to go to the Boundary Commission and get it all, you know.
Yeah.
Independent arbitration.
That's the process. Just go through the process. Same as we did before.
More democratic.
Moving on to committee.
Thank you.
Seconder, all in favour? Unanimous. So we've got a recommendation there. Number 2 is as written. It is lodge a submission to the New South Wales Minister for Local Government on the proposal to create a new local government area affecting the area of Snowy Valleys Council in support of referring the matter to the Boundaries Commission to provide an independent report to the Minister under the factors listed in the Local Government Act to resolve the issues as soon as possible at no additional cost to Snowy Valleys Council and to be resolved prior to the next council election.
Should Snowy Valleys Council or the, should there be a new council? Should we put that in there as well? No?
No, I think that'll do. Okay. Anything further? Put the motion. All in favour? All in favour? Against? No one against?
A little bit, no,
Councillor Ham,
I'll abstain.
you're with us or against us?
No, I'm not, just that last little bit worries me, so I'll just abstain.
Through the
It's
Chair,
against that says,
can I highlight that if you abstain from voting, that is a vote against.
that's enough.
That's what the Code of Meeting Practice says, so your vote will be recorded against this. There's plenty of time, we can take time to talk this through a bit more. If you need to talk it through a bit.
Well, my fundamental thought is that this merger happened against what totally the majority of everyone thought at the time. So it seemed to me that this was a mistake made under the Baird government, and if it is to be rescinded, you know, we should just not have to wear any of the cost, either side. And that's just my part on it. So,
Are you proposing an amendment?
yeah, well, how
No,
Yes.
it's been put.
am I, that's been put,
Yeah. As I understand it, you're either voting yes or no.
well, then I'll have to vote no.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.
Right, moving on. Appointment of independent member to the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee.
Happy to bring them.
Thank you, Councillor Larder. Councillor Cross. So we've got 3 recommendations there.
I was part of the panel that interviewed the people who put their names forward to be considered. The person we chose has got a wealth of experience in risk, which I felt was something that we needed to understand more thoroughly. She certainly had the broadest range of skills that we're looking for in that committee. So I was very happy with the nomination.
Thank you. Anything further? Put the motion, all in favour? It's carried unanimously. 5.6, appointment of public officer and responsible accounting officer. Councillor Larder. Councillor Cross.
Yeah, just congratulate them on their appointments.
Sure.
Welcome, and Shelley continuing as well.
Thank you. Put the motion, all in favour? Carried unanimously.
Mr Mayor, could you introduce the amendment to some of new faces?
I did when we started.
Yeah, but I didn't stand and we didn't know which ones you referred to.
We'll have to wait till next time. Thank you. Quite right. Food Organics Gardens. 7 recommendations there. Thank you. Councillor Smith. Councillor Cross. Exciting times. Anything further, Councillor Smith?
Simply supporting this program because it is essential, it's necessary, it's part of our move towards a no waste future, zero waste, and I commend the officers who have put this together again as a very, very good plan for us to follow.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Cross?
It's something that our communities have been asking for. I think it's absolutely fantastic outcomes. Great to end the meeting on a really positive note, and I really congratulate those people who went out for those grants. It's going to be a huge advantage to our community. It will reduce our landfill, which will again reduce our methane, which will again move us towards climate change, help with that. It's also an opportunity for council to use its own, or to generate its own compost to use around all of our parks and gardens, and as well to even be able to sell the whatever compost is not needed by council itself. The biggest issue, I think, is the fact that council will have to put money into the grants that have been given, and I would like to get reassurance that there is the money there for that to happen already.
I believe there's satisfactory funds available in the reserves, waste reserves.
Point of clarification, Mr Mayor. Page 54, the milestone 1 signing of the deed agreement. I noticed it's being signed on the 31st, which is 2 days away. 3. Is that still going to happen, or is there a change to that date?
Look forward to that happening.
That's 0.6, I think.
I'm looking at page 54 where we've got the grant funding milestone. It says milestone 1, signing of the deed agreement.
So we're authorising the
31
CEO
January.
to do that.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
That's right.
It's happening on the,
It's immediate. Yeah.
it's immediate? Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
I think
Councillor Ross.
point of other clarification is that this is going to take a year or more for it to actually
Oh, yes,
roll
it's
out
quite,
and become a reality, that we've got a lot of work to do prior to it actually starting, because I think sometimes when we say we get grants to do things, the community expects it to be done the next day. So I think we need to alert the community that it is going to take time. There's going to be a huge education process in place. There's infrastructure to have to be built. So it's going to happen, but there will be a time frame.
18 months or so. Thank you. Okay, nothing further. Put the motion. All in favour? Carried.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, could I just add something to that? Is it too late? It's not going to change the resolution, but what's in confidential is about the FOGO, and I think it would be of interest to people. Could we redact the names of it and then put them with the business papers? If that's okay if we go through Director of Infrastructure?
Through the chair, I can evaluate and see whether it could be released. There is part of that contract included specific names and company commercial and confidence information, so we can evaluate whether that document can be redacted and
Because it is very interesting. Thank you.
Councillors, that concludes our extraordinary meeting in the general section, the open section. So would someone like to move that we go into confidential? Councillor Lara?
no worries. They're just confidential.
Oh, okay, confidential. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you.